Elon Musk went from voting for Obama to becoming one of Donald Trump's most prominent allies.
We have a new star. A star is born, Elon.
Elon Musk is the world's richest man, but now he's the world's richest man with a direct line to the White House.
These are two men with huge egos. You can see at the moment they're kind of in love.
Both of them are expected to benefit from this bromance. Musk has appeared at family photos at Mar-a-Lago, and Trump's granddaughter even granted him uncle status.
You get the sense maybe Elon Musk thinks he's got a pet president, and Donald Trump thinks he's got a pet billionaire, and they can't both be right.
But there are some hot-button issues that could threaten this bond, like tariffs and climate change.
Can now send American astronauts into space.
So how did Musk land in Trump's inner circle?
Take over, Elon, yes, take
And can this brotherhood really last? There are obvious similarities between the two men, including their personalities and backgrounds. Business Insider's Peter Kafka has been covering them for years.
I used to work on the Forbes 400 richest people list. He was very involved in that. He wanted to make sure his ranking was very high. So that was my first sort of exposure to him. And Musk, I was aware of him for a while, but until he was about to acquire Twitter, I wasn't paying that much attention to him.
Both come from wealthy families. Donald Trump's father built a real estate empire in New York. Musk's dad was an engineer, pilot, property developer, and emerald dealer. But the tech billionaire has claimed he never received any significant financial gifts from him, although that's disputed. Musk has far eclipsed where he started. SpaceX, founded about 22 years ago, is beating out giants like Boeing in the space race. And Tesla is one of the most profitable electric vehicle companies in the world.
No one thought he could do that. He didn't have any background in engineering and batteries, but he went and figured out how to do it. He has created his own space program. Again, had no background in that. That's really impressive. In most cases, he's been able to sort of do what he wants through some combination of talent, power, ambition, luck.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump experienced significant business failures. His airline, Trump Shuttle, never turned a profit. Trump Mortgage shut down within 18 months of launching. Trump University settled fraud claims for $25 million. And several of his casinos filed for bankruptcy. But his career has also been marked by notable successes. For example, he invested in real estate and developed iconic New York skyscrapers like the 48-story Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue. Donald Trump also earned $427 million for his role on the TV show The Apprentice.
Easy. Okay. Who needs you two guys? Who needs you?
Donald Trump has had similar successes doing things the way he wants to, without the constraints of what people would consider conventions or laws or mores.
They're both rule breakers. They're both mavericks. They both think that the whole notion of a kind of a bureaucracy, a system, an establishment is inherently corrupt.
But the path to politics for the two men was very different. Musk said he once lined up for 6 hours to shake Obama's hand when he was running for president. Back then, he was more aligned with the left.
He used to be closer to the Democrats, certainly. His relationship with Trump is quite strange when one considers certainly his environmental politics in the past.
His public persona was, I'm a guy who's making this electric car for the good of the environment, and the people who like my electric cars, they're kind of coastal, blue state, blue city liberals.
He even told CNBC he didn't think Trump should be president. He argued that he doesn't seem to have that sort of character that reflects well on the United States. And in 2017, Musk was a vocal critic of the Muslim ban. They also seemed to disagree over climate policies. In 2017, Musk resigned from Trump's Business Advisory Council after the president withdrew the US from the Paris Agreement. But Musk's political leanings started to shift around 2020.
One thing that Musk has talked about himself is sort of getting frustrated with what he calls the woke mind virus.
He spent a lot of money on Twitter, I think explicitly as a political project, to curb that.
It reportedly began with the pandemic. He argued against COVID-19 restrictions, and during the lockdown, he decided to reopen a Tesla factory in California. Back then, Trump voiced his support for Musk. Another thing that supposedly turned Musk away from the Democratic Party was what he perceived as a snub from the Biden administration. The White House hosted a summit on electric vehicles, and Tesla, the market leader in the US, was not invited.
So you were pissed.
It's not the friendliest administration.
On Trump's end, 2020 seemed to be the first time he publicly started declaring his admiration for Musk.
Because he's one of our great geniuses, and we have to protect our genius.
I want to thank Elon, who's been a friend of mine for a long time, somebody I have great respect for.
And Musk slowly appeared to be falling for Trump too. In a controversial move, he decided to reinstate Trump's Twitter account.
It was not correct to ban Donald Trump. I think that was a mistake. I think it was a morally bad decision, to be clear, and foolish in the extreme.
But he wasn't head over heels yet for Trump. In June 2022, he actually supported Ron DeSantis and even helped kick off his campaign. A month later, he wrote that Trump should hang up his hat and sail into the sunset. Up until March 2024, Musk even insisted he wouldn't endorse another presidential candidate. But the attempt to assassinate Trump in July appeared to be a turning point.
We had one president who couldn't climb a flight of stairs, and another who was fist pumping after getting shot. Fight, fight, fight!
Musk tweeted his full support for the Republican candidate, wishing him a rapid recovery. Then, a month later, Trump joined Musk for a 2-hour live stream on X, drawing over 1 million listeners. And that's when he called Trump the path to prosperity.
I think it's actually a very important junction in the road, and we're in deep trouble if it goes the other way.
Around that time, Trump began floating the idea of appointing Musk to his cabinet. Musk responded by tweeting an AI-generated photo with, quote, "I am willing to serve," as a caption. Experts say that Trump has benefited from this budding friendship.
He is a billionaire who backs Trump, who gave money to Trump, who leveraged the social media platform he controls in order to support Trump.
You've got the world's richest man and one of its most visible figures publicly aligning with him and supporting him. That's worth something to Trump.
Musk poured millions into his campaign by creating the America PAC, which spent about $250 million to help elect Trump. From then on, he was pretty active on the campaign trail, showing up at rallies alongside Trump and even holding multiple town halls in Pennsylvania.
As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA.
But one of Musk's biggest gestures was when he launched a lottery in battleground states.
Tonight's person is John Dreyer.
Musk pledged to give away $1 million each day until the election to selected voters who signed the PAC's petition, which favored free speech and the right to bear arms. Although the lottery wasn't explicitly rewarding participants for registering to vote, experts say it was meant to incentivize turnout from Republican voters in swing states. Another way that Musk has declared his total devotion to Trump is through Twitter, now X. He bought it for $44 billion in 2022, and the platform turned into what experts call a MAGA mouthpiece.
Twitter became much, much more receptive to conservative, right-wing, Republican voices under Musk than it was before.
You know, in past elections, we've worried a bit about the things going on in social media firms, about whether they were skewing one way or skewing the other way, illicitly behind the scenes. This wasn't behind the scenes at all. This was entirely open. And so that feels a bit like a Rubicon being crossed. The relationship between business and politics has just changed completely.
It's hard to say how much Musk's gestures helped Trump win the 2024 election, but they definitely sealed their friendship. Now, Musk seems to be an integral part of Trump's inner circle. He's been around Mar-a-Lago a lot, including at a party where key Republican officials celebrated Trump's return to the White House. He's gone golfing with Trump and has been spotted at an Ultimate Fighting Championship event in New York City. He's been flying around on Trump's private jet, and photos show them eating McDonald's together. They hung out in South Texas to watch a SpaceX rocket launch. Trump was seen listening closely as Musk explained how it worked. He was also sitting in the front row as Trump spoke during a meeting with House Republicans. Trump even reportedly joked about Elon's constant presence, saying, quote, "Elon won't go home. I can't get rid of him," but adding that he liked having him around.
We have to get Elon with this boy.
Okay. Absolutely.
A gorgeous, perfect boy.
Musk has even been chatting with foreign leaders. He joined Trump's call with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky and reportedly met with Iran's UN ambassador. And officially, Trump has crowned him co-leader of the planned Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, along with Vivek Ramaswamy. That could give him the power to do a full audit of the federal government's finances and performance.
And Elon, because he's not very busy, has agreed to head that task force.
Musk has already recommended laying off federal employees and cutting a third of all spending.
What the hell do you need 428 agencies for? Like, why do you even need 100? This is crazy.
But a role like that could lead to major conflicts of interest, since Musk's companies have billions in government contracts.
The things you can get from being at the right-hand side of the President of the United States, kind of limitless. Very practically, in Musk's case, there's a lot of regulation involved in space and in cars, and eventually in AI.
NASA is largely dependent on SpaceX for launching its missions and cargo into space. The Defense Department also relies heavily on the company for satellite launches and global communications through Starlink.
SpaceX is incredibly important to US foreign policy, so there's enormous power there, and SpaceX does earn money as a US contractor.
So now you have a giant government contractor in the White House, essentially, with Donald Trump. You can use your imagination to think of things that Musk might ask for and get.
Tesla could also benefit from this bond if Trump removes certain regulations on electric and self-driving cars. In the 2 weeks following the election, Tesla shares have soared nearly 40%. This kind of alliance between tech and politics isn't common, but it could benefit the sector at large.
Washington has been much more interested in regulating Silicon Valley. The Department of Justice, the Federal Trade Commission have multiple suits going against some of the biggest companies in tech. Apple, Google, Meta, Amazon are all dealing with federal lawsuits and investigations. All those companies would love to see that stuff go away.
But it's still too early to tell whether Trump and Musk's relationship will last. During Trump's first term, there was a rotating cast of characters in the White House. People like Michael Flynn lasted just 24 days as a national security advisor. Anthony Scaramucci only made it 10 days as the White House communications director. Some experts predict Musk could face a similar fate. Trump plans to impose heavy tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China, where Musk has vital suppliers for Tesla. Musk also has plans of building a new gigafactory in Mexico, but they could be affected by tariffs. If the pair eventually break up, some believe it won't be over policy differences, but because of a personality clash.
The two of them would need to share a spotlight, and the two of them don't like to share a spotlight. Both of them like to be at the center of attention.
Both of them are used to being absolute masters of their own domains, and so one of them is going to have to be sort of playing second fiddle to the other one.
Another possibility is that Musk could become frustrated with how tough it is to work within a bureaucracy. Or he could just lose interest.
He does get bored. He got bored with Tesla, which is why he bought Twitter. He seems to be pretty bored with Twitter, which is why he's gone into politics. And eventually he might have had enough of running America and want to get back to thinking about Mars. I think Musk is more excited about Mars than he is about running America.